Hey guys, so I wanted to come on here and just chat with you guys, I guess. So, I'm just sitting here. I ate a bite and I got a Dunkin' Donuts coffee, but you can tell by looking at it, it's kind of not that good, but I have been drinking it anyways. So, I know there's tons of stuff on each of our minds, and sorry, my allergies are acting up. And this virus is just unreal. And I know all of us get tired of hearing about it, but I get tired of hearing about it too. But the truth is, this is reality for us, and it's just, it's so crazy. And I keep clearing my throat because I feel like my face is like swollen up from this pollen and stuff. Like, I rolled the windows up and it's not doing as bad. But this here is just going to be raw footage of me and how I'm feeling and what's going through my mind. I'm telling y'all, and I had my windows down, but it's hot out there and I had to roll them up. I have not been so anxious and overwhelmed in a long time like this. Like, it's awful. It's crazy. I worry about my kids so much, like the fear. And you know, all of us can say we don't worry. We do. It's part of life. But and God does not give us the spirit of fear, but He gives us wisdom and knowledge and stuff like that. But still, we're human and we worry about these things. And I have been worrying so much. I guess it's because, you know, I work in the healthcare field or whatever, and I'm so worried of getting it and giving it to my kids, or, you know, I could be a carrier of it from working and then getting around my kids and not knowing it. I didn't get it, but they got it because it was like, you know, living in me or whatever. So that's the things that I worry about, and I'm not around them that much right now because I am just so scared to death. Like, it is the awfulest feeling I've ever felt in my life. Like, I'm just so scared. And like, you know, I work at the nursing home and we're constantly getting new patients or residents. Just, you know, ever so often we're getting new ones, and you see and you hear about this crap hitting in nursing homes, and it's like it's getting closer and closer and closer, and it's scary. It's like it's scary. And not only, like, I worry about myself too, just because I have heart trouble and stuff, and, you know, just with a minor virus that I've had before, or strep throat, it interferes with my heart. So I do worry about myself, but my kids come before myself. But I worry about my patients, and I don't know if y'all remember me talking whenever I first became a CNA, and I'm going to try not to get so emotional, but guys, this is real. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm feeling. You know, when I first started working as a CNA, you know, I always knew that I had a heart to help others and to do for others. That's just who I am as a person. I just have to be doing something for someone, and I just feel like I'm called to do that. And so right now, that's what I'm doing. Yes, I have this other job waiting on me, but it's on hold right now. So I'm just staying where I'm at, and I believe that that's where I need to be at the moment. But at the same time, it's scary. But when I first started working as a CNA and experienced a lot of death back to back, and experience like hands-on with like CPR and just like that whole ordeal, like it's hard. Like, it really is. It's hard. And I remember the first one that I had. There was this little old guy. He was older, obviously, but which there's young ones in my nursing home too. But he had talked to me that day. He was sitting in the hallway, and he had just, ate or whatever, and he was sitting there. He said, I've got my ticket home. He said, I've got my ticket to go home. I said, what? He said, I'm going home. I said, okay. I said, well, where are you going? He said, I'm going home up there. I'm like, okay. So I really didn't think much of it. I just thought that maybe he, had that on his mind or something, because he wasn't really sick. He had minor things wrong with him, but he wasn't like, sick. And I'll never forget it. This was my very first, I had encounters with it, with death, but it wasn't like hands-on the way it was when this happened. But I remember I was assistant of feeding someone, and I was sitting there doing that and talking to him, and I seen the little old man wheel by in his wheelchair. It was in like the little restorative dining rooms where we were sitting, and I seen him go by, and I heard this awfulest sound, and it was like a gasp, like a weird sound. I said, oh my gosh. And I stopped what I was doing, and I walked down the hallway, and I'm like, oh. So he just codes out. And anyways, to make a long story short, I got the nurses, they done the crash cart and all that mess, and he was the very first one that I had ever done the CPR thing with. And those of you that are in the medical field know that, especially with, older residents, when you're doing CPR, what happens, it's just, it's horrible. And so we were switching out and all this, and the little old man didn't make it. He passed away, but that was one of my very first ones, and I had to clean him up after that. And I could just remember I got my ticket for home. I'm going home. I got my ticket. And so the nurse looked at me, and like, I had just literally started working there. I've dealt with death, I've lost family members, but this was just so, it was there, it was just there. And so she's like, go on and step out and get you, take you a minute. And so I clocked out and took my lunch break, and I remember to this day, I remember clocking out, and I remember sitting, and I remember crying, and I was like, God, I said, I can't do this. I can't do this. And what I'm getting at, I'll tell you in a minute, but I can't do this. Like, this little old man's died, and I experienced this, and it hurt my heart, because he literally had just told me he had his ticket to go home. And like, when I first started going through the nursing home and seeing these people day by day doing the same things, and some of them crying, and just the same things over and over and over and over and over, and I'm like, gosh, this is so sad. I would go down to a different hallway, and you could still see the sadness on some of them's face, and I'm like, man, this is so sad. And I remember praying. I said, Lord, I said, I can't do this. I said, it's hurting my heart so bad. And I said, I'm going to go home, and I'm going to go to sleep. And I said, I'm going to pray about it. And if you don't take this hurt that I'm carrying, about this situation and the residents, and if you don't take this heavy burden and hurt out of my heart, I said, there's no way that I can do it. I said, I carry so much as it is, and I said, there's no way that I can do this. It's just so sad, and it hurts my heart. And of course, we do all that we can do. And I said, if you want me to continue doing this, you're going to have to help me. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to have to feel that you have helped me to be able to carry this a little bit better. And I did. I woke up, that morning, oh goodness, I've got my makeup all smearing. I woke up that morning and I could feel that God had took the loads off, because I was literally about getting ready to quit. My heart hurt so bad. Like, it was just aching and aching and aching and aching. So then we have this situation with this COVID virus. This is like what I'm getting at. So I'm petrified of getting that, giving it to my kids, or giving it to people that I love, or anything like that. But at the same time, I feel like right now these people need me, and others that, you know, in this type of healthcare, like, they need us, because let me tell you what's the saddest thing ever. And it was sad before, but this is like so sad. You know, they have everybody on quarantine, and you know, they can't be so close to one another. They can't you know, be in like the kitchen or where they eat at in the dining room together, or they can't do like their little activities where they would go in there and like the girls would, or the women would do nail painting, and you know, just little things to help them throughout the day to, you know, to get their little minds off of stuff. And there's people that are sick, and there's people that you know, elderly that are in there, that this has really messed with them. Like, some of them are dementia, some of them are not, but it's literally messed with them because they don't understand why their family's not there. They think that they've turned their backs on them, or they think that what's going on, what have I done, you know, what's going on, did they die? They're thinking all different kinds of things. And so here we are. I'm going down the hallways. I work various hallways now, and I'm going down the hallways, and that car went by 2 times. I don't even know who it was. I just pulled over on this little thing beside the park, but going through the hallway, and I remembered that same exact time when I first started working, the loneliness, the sadness, the isolation, and I'm reminded again how much they need me, how much they need others that are in this healthcare field. Anybody could turn away and walk away through this, and I'm not lying, I'm scared to death myself. There's been times that I'm like, what do I need to do? What do I need to, just Lord help me, what do I need to do? But I'm reminded, you know, these people, we've become their family. And more so ever now than before, because they are isolated from, I need to turn my car off. This scrap's been running for freaking a long time. But you know, they need us, and all of us are scared and everything. And this one little resident, God love her little heart, she's one of my favorites. She's a sassy little thing, and I went in there and she said, what is going on? I said, I don't know. And she was talking about this virus and stuff, and I'm like, girl, I don't know what's going on. I cut up with them all the time. And she looks at me and she said, Stephanie, I said, what? She's like, please don't leave. She said, we need you, and we need all the others here. So it's hard, and a lot of people don't understand why, you know, like, it's just a trying time for everybody. But I believe that God sees each and everyone's heart, and I believe that God, without a shadow of a doubt, has his hands upon each of us, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And you know, if I can just be there to help these people, and you know, to take care of them and love them and help them get through this hard time, and you know, it's just so sad because they literally have no one. And like, I can so relate to it at the moment now, because I have literally worked, went home, which I've been doing a lot of working since this has been going on. Work, go home and sit there, and I can't be around my kids that much, and I miss them so bad, and it's just like the hardest thing that I've ever went through in my life, and I'm like, am I doing the right thing? And I'm praying about it, and I ask God to give me an answer, give me direction, which way I need to go. But I feel that they need me, and I just can't turn my back on them. Because what if all of us turned our backs on them? You know, they're human beings that, you know, this is their home, and there's another whisper, they're pretty much shut down. Families can't come in, and some of them are sick and grieving themselves, and they're dying, and it's like the hardest thing that I have ever seen. And it hurts so bad. And not only on top of the situation with the nursing home and the people that are sick and making themselves sick because they're grieving for their family and not eating, and you try to get them to eat, and you try to make them laugh, and there's hardly nothing you can do but be there and just say, hey, I'm here, you know, we'll get through this, I'm praying. And I prayed, and I'm like, God, just please give me the answer, what I need to do. And I can't risk, you know, my kids getting sick and getting this if I carried it to them. So I stay away. My anxiety has been all over the place. It's been highs, it's been lows, it's been... I'm a person that I can laugh when something's going on, and I just nervously laugh. I do that. And I cry and I laugh, and I'm just a nervous wreck, and I pray a lot, and I read the Bible a lot, and God, I think a lot. You know, I think. And I prayed, and I'm like, God, lead me and show me the way that I need to do, and what I need to do, and which way I need to go. And the whole time, it's just like, this is just what I do. My heart is for people. My heart's to be there to help them. And so, this situation with this virus and spreading it to home, and it's tough. But until, you know, this dies down, and if it hits in our nursing home, we're prepared to use proper PPE. We're trained to do all that stuff, and, you know, viruses have ran, or viruses and the flu one year swept through there and hurt and killed a lot of people, and, you know, we were in it, and thank God I never got it, but, you know, some of the workers did get it and was very sick, but, you know, that's just the chance that we take when we're doing this for others, you know. I mean, I have to pray about it and ask God to protect me and everybody else around us, families and friends and co-workers. And I told my co-workers, I said, we're just going to have to stick together and help each other get through this difficult time. It's so hard, it's so scary, the anxiety's there, the anxiety's real, and every morning that I get up, it's the first thing that I think about, and I pray about it, and I said, God, please protect us all. Because tonight when I go in, I'm working tonight and tomorrow night, and whenever I decide that I want to, which I've been working pretty much every day because I don't like sitting at home by myself, but I'm working the floor where people come in from the hospital. which they don't have it, but, you know, they test them, you know. But still, yet, you never know. We could bring it in, they can bring it in. It's just, it's one of those things. You can get it from going to the gas station, you can get it anywhere. But guys, please, if you're watching this and somebody just pulled in there trying to get in the park, honey, you ain't going to get in there. It's closed, doll face. But now's the time that I have got my eyes swelled up and they hurt. And I've cried my makeup off. I'm a complete freaking disaster. But it's okay, right? But pray for each other. Lift each other up. Pray, 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 pray. Call your family that you can't see. If you call them, tell them you love them. You know, this is hard. This is so hard. But anyways, I had to get that off my chest, and I may or may not post this. I probably will, but it's hard to talk about it, and it's so pitiful. It's so sad seeing these elderly people, you know, missing their family and can't see them, and they're already sick as it is, and I don't know. God's got a plan, and God's way is perfect, and He's there with us, and He's wanting us to rely on Him that much more. And everything that we have, I heard Pastor Nick, he was on Facebook Live this morning, and he's, you know, fear is a liar, and we need to wholeheartedly trust and believe God. And I do, but you know, that one little doubt of fear can get in the way. And I know His powers and His works and all that stuff, but you know, it's a scary time. But he said that he was talking, and he was like, every morning that we get up, we need to give our whole life to Jesus and let Him just take over in our life. And you know, it was just a really good message that he gave to us. And I'm getting distracted by all these little birds looking for worms and stuff. Do you see it? It's a little bitty one. There's 2 of them. And just like that, you know, like with the little birds, they, you know, God gives them food. They don't worry about food. They sit and chirp out here and eat their food. And, you know, that's who He is with us. He is going to protect us. He is going to watch over us during this hard time. And He is going to make us exactly what we need to be, each of us. Wherever we need worked on, He's going to be working on us during this time. More so than ever, because times are winding out. And, you know, I just want to do all I can, and I want to just do the best I can, and, you know, serve the Lord and help others and share Christ, you know, because that's what it's all about. You can't take none of this material things with you. And there was a comment that I read a little bit of it, and it was just, it's one of those smart comments that people like to do on here, but you know, that's not nothing new to most of them that do this. But you know, in a time like this, there's still those people that try to do that, which is bizarre. You know, they need to get right with Jesus. Oh, look at this bird. Oh, that is a beautiful bird. It's blue. Are them doves? But anyways, those are pretty. But, and it was a comment. It was a really smirky comment asking about something if I ever share to them. You know, I talk about all this stuff and about my residents. If I ever ask them the main thing about Christ and, if they're saved and all of that stuff. Let me just tell you this, honey, whoever that was. And, you know, I go about things in my own way. If God lays it upon, I don't just get out here in church, like be one of these Bible thumpers where you just like throw it on somebody. If I'm taking care of somebody, and most of my residents are older, that I've been there for 3 years, so we've already encountered the religious aspect and our beliefs and all that stuff. And but if I encounter someone, for instance, let me just give you a prime example, and then I got to get off of here, my battery's running down. But I had worked night shift, and for whatever reason I agreed to it, and I was tired, and I come in at 6 p.m. and had to be done at 6 a.m. So I was tired and exhausted and hadn't been sleeping good since all this mess. It's like right when it started happening. And I was doing my shift, and I was getting tired and exhausted, and just like my eyes were getting heavy. And I walked in this little old lady's room, and she had just got in there. And I was taking care of her and everything that she needed. She looked at me and she said, "Honey," she said, "was that you out there whistling in the hallway?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "Yep." I said, "That's what I do. I whistle. I either whistle or I sing, one of the two, when I'm going through the hallway." And it's just a habit thing that I'm always doing. And she said, "Well, it was pretty and bright." And I'm like, "Well, thank you." And I said, "Well," I said, "would you like me to sing you a song?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah." So I shut the door because I didn't want people to hear me. And I think I sung to her "What a Day That Will Be." And honey, she was clapping her hands, and she had tears in her eyes. And then after that, she's like, "Well, what do you think about all this going on?" And I said, "Honey," I said, "I ain't gonna lie to you." I said, "It's scary." I said, "We don't know, this is like right when it first started, like, when it first, we started hearing about it." I said, "God's got us, and He's going to take care of us." And she said, "Do you think we're in the last days?" I said, "Well, the way I feel, I think we are." I said, "I'm not for sure." I said, "We've heard about it all the time, but now things have happened so fast." And I said, "You never know when when God's going to come back, or all this is going to take place." I said, "But what it did say was watching to be ready." And so we just carried on our conversation with that. And she said, "Honey," she said, "you are a wise young lady." And I'm like, "Well, thank you." I said, "I was raised in church, and I believe in God. He's one of my main helpers, and without Him I'd be lost, and I wouldn't be here today, and I wouldn't be sane right now." She says, "You're right." And she said, "Honey," she said, "I read the Bible, but I don't understand it." I said, "Well, do you just find stuff to read, or do you just open up your Bible and read it?" She said, "Both." I said, "Well," I said, "you just need to pray for wisdom and ask God to give you the knowledge that you need, because His Word, not each of us will interpret the same way. Whatever you need that day, God will reveal it to you through the Bible, or reveal what He needs for you to reveal during that time. Certain times God will reveal different scriptures to us different ways at different times, just depending on what He wants to show us." She's like, "You're right." And so I said, "Honey," I said, "just pray for wisdom and don't overdo it. Just read a little bit and set it down. And each day that goes by, the Lord will start showing you things, and, open that up and everything." She said, "Well, honey," she said, "I just don't think that I need to be where I need to be. And I don't think that I'm as close to God. And I'm," she's worried about, dying lost and stuff. And I just felt the power of God come over me. She's talking about how she's failed the Lord, not going to church and reading her Bible, and, just simple things. Well, that's not simple. That's a big thing. We all need to read our Bible and, go to church and stuff. But little things like that happens, It's not little, but you know what I mean. I looked at her. I said, "Honey," I said, "they ain't one of us perfect." I said, "Let me tell you something." I said, "God sees your heart, and He sees that you want to do for Him. He sees that you want the knowledge of reading the Bible, but you don't understand it." I said, "God sees that." I said, "None of us are perfect." I said, "I have made many mistakes, and along the way. But God knows exactly right here who we are, and He works on us daily. And she held her head down and she said, "You're right." And I said, "Honey," I said, "do you mind if I pray for you?" Oh, she's like, "Oh, no." I said, "Well," I said, "I don't normally pray out loud because I don't think that I can do it good or right or say the right things that I need to say that I want to come out." She's like, "Well, do it whichever way you want to, silent or out loud." So I took her by the hand and I went into praying and I started speaking out loud. And so to answer your question, yes, I do bring Christ into my workforce situation. I try to be a light to others. I try to make people smile. I try to make people not to be sad. I try to uplift them. I try to give them encouraging words. I tell them that God loves them and I love them too. And that's what we're here for. We're here to be a light, to be a help to one another. So before y'all get all fluffed up and upset and concerned, I do, honey. But I do it in my own way. I'm not just going to sit and throw the Bible at somebody and make them want to understand the word or their belief. I listen to what's their belief. I listen, and I listen to what God tells me to say. I listen. There's been times that I just don't say nothing. I'll say, "I love you. I'm praying for you." I've come across atheist people that don't believe, and those are the hard ones. You don't know what to say, you don't know what to do, you show them kindness. That's all you can do. But anyways, pray for the whole wide world. Pray for me. Pray for our families. Pray for the president. Pray for the higher up empowerments. Just pray for everybody. We need it now. And I pray for everybody to get strength. And I pray God's hedge of protection around all of us. So I love you guys. Until next time, guys, stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Keep the faith. Stay strong. If you gotta cry, cry. Don't hold it in. If you need someone to talk to them. You can message me, and I'll talk anytime. I'm a talker. Just don't know that you're not alone through this. We're all facing troubles and trials with this situation, and we're all scared. So remember that little bird right there. Jesus loves us. If He loves that little bird enough to help them get food, and He loves us that much too. He loves us more. He gave His life for us, and He loves us, and He cares for us. So stay strong, keep the faith. If you need to cry, cry out to Jesus. He's there, He's listening, He's waiting on us. So talk to you guys later. Bye.